Welcome to our channel. Thank you so much. We are growing rapidly. It's wonderful to see everybody here. Thank you. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Don't forget to comment and like and share this knowledge out. We're about growing our family. We are in the season of growth currently. We have to keep growing because the only way that the Black nation will unite for everything it wants is if we all awaken. And we're here to share and spread this knowledge just so that people can awaken and come into the consciousness of who they are. And so today I want us to talk about Auset. I've already done a few videos about Aset. You can see in maroon. I'm in maroon because Auset's color is maroon. This is the color that helps us connect with her frequency or her energy. And so a lot of the times in the season of Auset, it is, if you can, it is advisable to be in alignment, or when you want to meditate, to put on something that is maroon. Maroon is the color of royalty also, because we know that she's Queen Mother, she's Mother Goddess. Now, Auset, we know, is born of the earth god Geb and the sky goddess Nut. Remember that our ancestors depicted these energies or principles in human form, sometimes with an animal head, simply because they studied the characteristics of animals and whatever qualities or characteristics an animal had in a particular season, they would associate that with a certain energy or frequency. And so right now we are in the season of Auset, Auset known as Divine Mother. We have said in the Southern Hemisphere, it is winter now, going into winter. Everybody is in the womb. This is a time of less physicality and more a time of meditative or spiritual work. This also means our spiritual powers are heightened at this time if you tap into them. But I wanted to look at the aspect of Divine Mother. From a practical perspective, one of the things I love to do is to take each of these energies and principles and do a teaching on how we can use the characteristics of that energy or principle to enhance our contemporary life. We have a lot of people who say, well, you know, what does ancient Egypt, well, ancient Kemet got to do with us? It's thousands and thousands of years ago. Well, one of the words I absolutely love is the word Sankofa. Sankofa means that we are reaching back into the past to bring that knowledge into the present so we can build the future. Right now, as Bagwantu, we are in the present, in a very confused state with so little knowledge of our greatness. And so we have to do a Sankofa. We have to go back into ancient times, into pre-colonial times, to retrieve the greatness of our ancestors before they were interrupted by the colonizer and the enslaver, and bring that deep knowledge into the present so that we can chart forward a future. So that is why we do this. And I like to take the energies or principles, whatever season we're in, and then meditate and look for ways to make it practical for us. So what does it mean when we talk about Great Mother, right? If you close your eyes and imagine, what does it mean to be Great Mother? Because for every single one of us, our first experience of mother is our own mother or our grandmother. Right? What was that experience like for you? Now, I want to talk to Indlovukazi or the queens right now and really look at that relationship between you and your mother. See, that relationship can either be good or it can be bad or it can be somewhere in between. But mothers and daughters usually have a very tenuous relationship. And I'd like us to do some work around that. So I'd like you to sit this coming week as we open the week. I'd like you to do some meditation around the relationship you have as Indlovukazi with your mother or your grandmother and maybe all the other matriarchs in your life. Why is this important? It's important for us to do this intergenerational healing. And remember what I've said in a previous video, we are the curse breakers. because the children we're giving birth to are forcing us to do this work. We are birthing a generation of star seeds and indigo children that are forcing us to look at ourselves and do this work. These kids are challenging us in ways that you cannot even imagine. These kids aren't going to take, be quiet, I'm the older person and I know best. They're not going to take that. These kids are pushing our boundaries. These kids are stretching us. And the only way we can be parents to them in a correct manner that allows them to flourish and to fulfill their purpose is if we do the work of healing our wounds and the wounds of those women who came before us, because it's all interconnected. We are the generation that's not going to be allowed by Divine Mother for these wounds to carry on into our children. So whether we like it or not, we are the curse breakers. So in Ndlovukazi, I'd really like for you to look at the relationship you have with your mother. And I'd like you to call on the energy of Auset or Divine Mother. She's a healer, remember. She's the moon. In isiZulu, we say inyanga. Inyanga actually is a healer. That is what I am, a sangoma/inyanga. Meaning to say she is the ultimate healer of all hurts. Then I'd like to invite the Divine Masculine. I'd like to invite the kings who are watching this. And look at your relationship with mother. Now, that is a very complicated relationship. The mother-son relationship is very, very complicated. But unless we get that relationship healthy, we will always carry a certain wound into relationships we have with women as you move along. So, for example, many men have this thing that their mother did no wrong, right? Many experience a lot of hurt at the hands of mother. But the problem is that there is a part of them that has a very hard time even articulating the hurt, so they suppress it. You find the same person who calls women bitches will go crazy if anyone says anything about their mother. That doesn't make any sense. Because if you respect your mother, you will respect all women. And so there is a repression of emotion around the mother wound where the Divine Masculine is concerned. And it's women who come into your life seeking intimacy or relationship that suffer for that repression and suppression. So I would like, in the presence of Divine Mother, to invite our Divine Masculine, our kings, please. Can you sit? Do you have the courage to unpack your mother wound and really look at the woundedness that you have at the hands of mother? Because you cannot heal that which you do not accept. You cannot change that which you do not acknowledge. That is the first step. And then after that, start acknowledging, and first start by forgiving yourself for whatever happened. And this goes to both the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. It wasn't your fault. You were a child. It wasn't your fault. The adults in your life should have been responsible. So you need to forgive yourself for what happened. Because part of why it is so difficult to heal is because most of the time you're taking responsibility for things that you had no control over. This is an important time to do this work because you are literally in the womb of mother. Believe me, you're not going to crumble and perish. You're not going to fall apart. If you do, she'll put you back together again. She's the master magician. But I urge us to do this work because failure to do this work, especially healing that mother wound, is going to make it very difficult for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine to come together. And that unit, that union is the basis for Black unity. That union is the basis for Black unity because it is the basis of any family that gets formed. And we know that our families are broken. And so I invite you to do this work. One of the things that is so important in the divine masculine is the balance between the feminine and the masculine. I invite you to do the work of sitting as a guy, as a man, and looking at your relationship with your feminine self. Remember, we all start out as female. And then at about 6 weeks, we differentiate because of testosterone. Those with the Y chromosome become men, and those with an X chromosome become women. So if you're XY, after 6 weeks, you start differentiating differently. But otherwise, we all start out as female. Therefore, in all of us, there is a divine feminine. And I invite the masculine to sit with that for a little bit and to look perhaps at your attitudes towards women and try to dig deeper as to the source of those attitudes. Where does the disrespect come from? Where does the resentment come from? Where does the fear of women come from? Right? That balance within yourself, that acceptance of the divine feminine within yourself is what will enable you to be in relationship with a woman. We are often told that women nowadays, black women, are very masculine. What does that even mean? We know that we've been shaped by our history, we've been shaped by our environments. And a lot of the environments we've been in have been very hostile towards black women. Black women have been dehumanized. We're treated as though we have no feelings. And why is that? Because we're strong. And so I'd like for us to start rewording things and stop looking at black women from the framework or lens of whiteness. Because when you say a black woman is in her masculine energy, what exactly does that mean? Because black women have always been strong. Black women have always been protectors. Black women have always been leaders. Black women have always been kingmakers. Black women have always had to be mother and father. Because at the end of the day, it is black women who are left to take care of children when men walk away. So exactly what does it mean when we say black women are in their masculine? We need to start having compassion for one another's wounding. We need to start taking care of one another and giving one another grace so that we heal. It doesn't serve any of us in our community to be in our ego. And if there's one thing I can tell you, Great Mother cannot stand is the ego. Because when ego gets in the way, there is no spiritual growth. When ego gets in the way, you cannot grow spiritually, because ego is about protecting your fleshly self. Ego is everything to do with your earthly self, with this, your physical body. Your ego gets wounded because why? Because you put your physical self before your spiritual self. You will never grow as long as you are in your ego. And both men and women are capable of having a high ego. Your ego is necessary when you need to survive and to protect yourself. But Bagwantu, for how long are we going to stay in survival mode? Because the invitation in this time, in this season of Auset, in this age of Ma'at, the invitation is to let go of ego. I promise you we won't perish. We won't. We are so divinely made, we will actually flourish. We've been made to feel like we will perish. We've been made to feel that everything is scarce, that everything is scary, that there is insecurity. We've been stressed out because of the system which we've had to function. But the invitation now is let go of ego. Let go of the stress, of the worry. Do the healing work. I promise you, like I said, if you fall apart, she will piece you back together. Call on her. For those of you born in the season of Auset, this is your dominant principle. Utilize this energy and this time. Lean into the energy of mother and heal. Where your own mother couldn't love you the way you needed to be loved, great mother can love you. Where your own mother didn't protect you in the way you needed to be protected, great mother is a warrior for you. Where your own mother didn't defend you or was loyal to you when you needed her to be, great mother is standing to attention for you. Lean into her. Allow yourself to lean into her. Some of you might be asking, what does that look like? Okay, I'll give you a little exercise that you can do. Sit with yourself on a day that you decide that you really are ready to do this work. Don't leave it too late because we only have a few days left in the season. On the 23rd of April, we are bringing in the season of Anpu, which is another very deep meditative season. But use the next few days before we exit out of Auset to do this one little exercise. It may not complete the process in and of itself, but it will start the process which you can continue into the season of Anpu. Take a pen, take a piece of paper. Go and find somewhere quiet to sit. If it means leaving your home to go into a park, to go to a bookstore, to a quiet corner, to go to somewhere where you won't be afraid to bawl your eyes out, go there. It's spring in most places, it's getting warm. Go find a tree. Trees are so healing. Go and sit and lean against a tree and write a dear mother letter. Write a dear grandmother letter and put down. Remember, this is you in the presence of Auset, you with this giant tree supporting your back. Trees are very healing. They're sentient beings. Start writing a dear mother and write it all out. Write it all out. Do not filter your thoughts or your emotions. Pour it all out. Every last bit of it. It may hurt. Don't pull back. Don't pull back. Keep writing. Don't pull back. Keep writing. You see, when you do that work of getting this stuff out of you onto the page, it's not going to be instantaneous healing, but you will feel a huge burden has been lifted off of you. Deal with the guilt feelings. Many of us don't want to say anything negative about our mothers, especially the men, because that's our mother. But write it out, and right there too. I'm feeling guilty writing this to you, dear mother, but this is the truth, and this is my truth, and this is how it went down for me. I feel a sense of shame that I have to even admit these things to me, dear mother, but this is the truth, and this is my truth, and this is how it went down for me. It's not going to be easy. Don't pull back. Write it out. And once you've written it out, I want you to keep it somewhere safe where no one sees it. Because when the next full moon comes, we are going to do a ritual of letting go. I hope this will be useful for you. Like I said, I want to make our spirituality a lived experience. I don't want it to be theory where I come here and I tell you about these energies and principles. You can go Google that yourself. But I do want to be able to tap into the healing energies, the power of these energies and principles, so that they come alive in our lives and so that they are real in our lives and that they are healing to us and that they are supporting our walk, because this is exactly what these energies and principles did for our ancestors. And you know, they've been waiting for so long for us to lean in, for us to move and to flow with this energy. So I hope this has been useful for all. I came wanting to actually do a more academic teaching, but I allowed spirit to move, and this is what came out. I hope this is useful for you. I wish you healing, wholeness. I wish you peace that surpasses all understanding, which, by the way, does not come from the Bible. It was plagiarized from ancient Kemetic texts, just so you know. I love you guys. Take care and see you on the next upload. Mastogozane.